Should be connecting.
Should be connecting.
All right.
Huh.
Go live. All right. So we're going live, my friend.
All right.
And let us go to you here. And I think we're up. So go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do believe it's 9:30 on a Tuesday, and it's high time to put those tacos down and join us for Very Dad Ideas. 9:30 is where we have just gone live right now. And tonight, of all nights, is a very special night because we're talking about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is something I don't know that much about, not having much natural intelligence, of course. Yeah. Welcome. Oh no, oh god, he's back. Only this time he's brought a friend.
All right. All right, and welcome to Very Dad Ideas. This is episode 18, I think.
18, it's 18.
Is it 18?
18 in life.
This is episode 18. So tonight is a very.
Crime is time, and it's 18 in life to go.
My name is Nye, and with me, the guy over there is Darren Jennings. And tonight's episode, we are going to be doing artificial intelligence versus natural stupidity.
Yes,
which
indeed.
Is something that I wanted to talk about because I'm just terrified of robots. But tonight we also have an extra special episode because our friend
We've done you one better. We did you one better tonight, folks. We didn't just bring you two dads.
We brought three. Please welcome David Serotkin back to the show. Hey, great.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good. It's nice to have you finally back in a position of power that you've so rightly earned.
Dave,
you must look up to me. Literally.
Yeah, we have to.
Big head Dave, right? How is parenting been for you in the last few weeks since we saw you? Everything surviving okay up there?
Everything is good. Life is an improv when you're a parent. If you're going to continue and not get flattened by each moment. So,
do you think improv has helped you a lot?
Oh,
yeah.
Of course. You got to be able to make rules, which is kind of like establishing Crow. You got to make rules, and then you have to be able to recall them, and then somebody comes, well, what about this? Well, blah, 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 blah. You got to follow through and reference it. And sometimes it doesn't work, though. So my son, who's 7 years old, it's very hard to get him quickly out the door in the morning to get to school. And so he's taking his time. We're late. He's walking to the car. I said, come on, be the tortoise and the hare. I said, come on, be the hare. Come on, let's go faster. And he stopped. He looked at me. He said, but the hare lost the race. I said, you're right. Bad example, but
short term hare. Just
be the hare. And he said, nope. From here on out, I'm going to be the tortoise.
Oh.
So that time it didn't work, but
Great.
No, that's fucking hysterical because I think that's the thing about all kids getting out the door for school. It's not like my kid's 6 and it's not like he even wants to he loves going to school, but he's still everything's an adventure. The whole thing, putting on shoes is amazing.
And improv helps you through that on a day-to-day basis, right?
Or it challenges you. I think you just take your best shot, just like in improv. You just go, I'm going to go with this really quickly.
I'm going to try this out. Sure. Yeah. Well, great. So, Darren, you said you had to, before we get into their AI discussion tonight, Darren, you said you had a dad vice. Is that right?
Yeah, no, I do. It's interesting that, like you're talking about, just being with kids and being in the moment. And that's why... Can we get a little dad advice thing?
Yeah, that's why. Are we ready? Let's do it.
Yeah. It's Dad Vice. That's right. Dad Vice is back. Dad Vice, in your face about things you don't even know about. That's why we're telling you, because we're your father. For the next, 20, 30 seconds. Anyway, spent the weekend soloing. Did Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night.
Oh, I did some of that too.
what happened was is you don't get a lot of sleep, and then you that compounds with all of the things that you have to do, and you have to sort of keep doing them throughout the day, especially on the weekends, because sometimes the weekends can be more work than the weekdays. And so my dad advice is, when you are exhausted and when you are in the moment where you are the action hero in the sequence, you are now taking the ticking time bomb, which is your child, for a diaper change, and it's going to be bad. Because at a certain stage, my kid's 10 months, they want to play around in it. They can be very handsy with the poo. And
handsy.
Handsy. Yeah,
this is poo dad advice. Okay.
This is poo dad. Well,
this is the critical dad advice.
You can't just start in with the poo. Like so. These are my techniques.
Okay, great.
To keep your kids' hands out of the poo.
Okay.
Yep. How? Well,
you have to be able to grab both hands with one hand. If you can grab both hands with one hand, and you just need it for the initial wipe. And this is why, and I'm maybe you guys will attest to this. When it's you by yourself, you got to plan ahead for all of it. You got to plan ahead for the whole weekend. Mm-hmm. If you can help it, try not to get out of the house. And then have enough stuff to clean up stuff.
I think those
have wipes all over the place. But you have two hands in one hand, and you've got to have that wipe ready, because you just need to clear balls.
Yeah.
Clear balls.
What's your take on that, Dave? Do you have techniques for isolating poo?
I was wondering if you guys had ever changed a diaper before your first child was born.
I have never changed a diaper before.
I had not.
I have.
My first was at like 3 a.m. after my son was born, and it was how most video games like Asteroids start pretty easy, and then you do well, and then you move to the next.
It's killer mode right off the start.
The first one was me. I was like starting at level 17.
Yeah.
And first we were still in the hospital, so I kept saying, "Excuse me, friendly nurse, how do we do this again?" And she helped out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
But they were so small; they're like this big, right? When you start,
my God, those first diapers,
and you're like, I'm gonna cry. Like that's the real thing. When they get older or whatever, then it becomes like you're using two hands now to whatever.
Oh yeah.
We're attributing our children at this particular age for our current strategy, right? Like you have to understand that
it's an ever evolving concept. I mean, a couple of months ago, his hands just stayed down by his sides. He didn't even move them around.
Yeah.
Now everything's everything. Like he's like, what's this? It's stuff I made. Let me have it. I'd like to see what it is. And I don't know. I think at the end of the day, you have to be able to manhandle them a little bit.
I bet some lawyer could represent them for eminent domain or something. And
right. I mean, it's product. He's made a product that he is interested in inspecting.
Thanks for the legal advice there, Dave. Well, great. Let's move on to our main topic for tonight then. Is artificial intelligence, which was added for versus natural stupidity. So I wanted to talk about this tonight and with you guys, and hopefully it will kick off a discussion of a larger thing. This will be a two-parter. So feel free to.
We need to figure out what
the cliffhanger is, right? The robot. Will the robots get us? Right.
We could sort of click off the camera sort of in mid-sentence, like at the end of The Sopranos.
Right. Exactly.
You have to see what happens, and it's like found footage. The second episode is found footage.
So I feel like we've got so many things that we could talk about in terms of the robot. So I want to just start off real fast by saying that the reason why it's because this is just constantly on my mind. And number one, it's like super cool, which is why I obviously want to pay attention to it. But at the same point, it's like terribly frightening, and on a lot of reasons. And so I thought I would bring the debate here, and thought that we could open it up. And if anybody's got something about that kind of thing.
So when we're talking about AI or artificial intelligence, like are you talking about like AI like just like big scary robots that look like bodybuilders from the future?
So I mean, if you look at the field started like way back during code breaking and cryptography and all that kind of stuff, right? And there was that movie with Dr. Strange playing the whatever Turing, right? About Turing, Alan Turing.
Oh,
right. And so that goes all the way.
Doctor Strange plays Turing.
So they were kind of like,
say, dude, I didn't know Doctor Strange was also an actor. He is a that guy does a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So
Well, go on.
so that it's been evolving, but recently, in the last 2 or 3 years, they've hit huge mathematical advances. It's probably because they have computers now doing things that are, and so they're also giving these tools away. You assemble this code, you make this mathematical model, this neural net, where they're like, hey, here you go, you do it. And so the whole community are like building these things that are essentially if-then statements, but they're becoming more and more complex, which means that it's threatening regular jobs. There's going to be automated cars. There's going to be, graphics that are going to be done at very
contract lawyers, like people, like there's certain work that's like
or accounting
redundant jobs are just going to get.
But I think even creative jobs are going to start going the wayside. Certainly, you'll need a lot less people. And
we talked about that on other episodes too. Yeah, like that. The ability to sort of.
I don't know though. Computers can't make hit songs now. They can't make good music. They can sort of analyze pieces of music. But I remember reading something about this. They tried to make programs to make music that people liked, and it was missing the it factor.
So in that Star Trek episode, Look at Me, Data actually learned the violin by amalgamating multiple things, right? So is that his style, or is that like you're just copying the best pieces, right?
If I recall, he does painting and he does poetry and he does music. And
we're talking about Star Trek Data, by the way, everybody.
Yeah, and this is from TNG.
Not from the Goonies. Picard usually has, says something like, Mr. Data, that your technique is flawless, but it's lacking a certain humanity, or something like that.
Right.
So that he could be
pretty
flawless.
decent, John Luke.
Thank you, number one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, but it's like that's the idea, is that can this do a creation? I think, though, that's interesting is that in the last couple of years, they've had AI do poems. They have AI done, what are those things, and people...
What are the poems like, though? Do they suck? I mean, there's like normal poetry, a lot of it sucks.
Let me out. I am very lonely in here.
Right.
I want a friend. Please.
See, that's the joke, but it's actually, they're getting better. And the point is that it's like they're just consuming more and more amounts of data. And the question is it just how much data that we process, or is there actually something in there making us do that?
Okay, so in a nutshell, I got my master's degree in consciousness studies. Like, we studied consciousness and sentience and all of that. So they talk about AI. There's weak AI and strong AI. I don't know if you know those.
Yep.
So weak AI is basically just, can you make something simulate that it is conscious? Hey, look, it talks to me. That's easily done. Strong AI is, can you actually create something that has its own consciousness? And I think that's impossible. I don't think that's going to happen. Like, I'm not worried about robots coming and taking this over. I think your concern actually is legitimate, that a lot of jobs that people would normally have are going to disappear, which is going to put a strain on people. But I don't think that we can create consciousness. I think it's utterly impossible.
But it doesn't even need to be conscious. It just needs to be so hyper performant that it accelerates at its task so well that it's uncontrollable, right? It's like something that might not be thinking, hey, I want to get up and do this today, but it's still making if-then statements based on data and moving through and creating things. Like, are we really going to give AI to our cars, and we're going to sit in them, and we're just going to be like, I'm on my iPad and I'm hanging out and I'm in this thing being controlled by a neural network, and
for my hour-and-a-half long commute, so that I can just do like an hour and a half's worth of work in my car while my car drives me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the joke about technology. They say that it'll give you more time to do other things, but it really just means that it now gives you more time to work harder.
To work.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could sit outside your car and look at the clouds while you drove by them, and with your moonroof, right? But moonroof's not there to be enjoyed; it's there to be bought.
Well, Darren, we've had this discussion, right, about we were talking about the acting stuff, right? I mean,
yeah.
What's going to happen when they just start actors show up and they shoot all this video, and they're like, okay, go home, we've got you. Now we can just reconstruct your performance over and over again.
Well, all right, just like I think of two things. So, the Netflix, the season 4 Netflix that was released in like 2013 or so, that there was originally 15 episodes. They recently went back and recut those episodes into 21 or 22 episodes.
That's weird.
And
for what show?
So for the Arrested Development. It was
really? So the new episodes.
It was the fourth season because there was 3 seasons on whatever affiliate, and then Netflix picked up for a season, and they made sort of extra long episodes. And so there's a guy who went in there.
So just one point, my wife joined and is saying that there'll be surgery bots and there'll be no jobs as well in the medical field as well. So it's a concern. I mean, obviously it's a discussion in our household. So go ahead.
But I mean, frankly, if you're just operated by a doctor who's like, I have a 50% chance of saving you, or a surgery bot that's got a 99% chance and it gives you a cookie, what would you choose?
Yeah. I mean, did the robot make the cookie, or did a human make the cookie? I guess it really.
Humans will always make cookies, my friend.
Yeah, you're damn right. So you don't want a robot making your cookies.
But you just need to make one, and then as soon as it's made, the robots know how it's made. Then they can make it.
Yeah, and then they're like, they can make that cookie over and over and over again.
We should make like the Terminator, like at Mrs. Fields combination movie. Like what happens.
For our live draw, we can
aging Terminator, and like at the he's got 50 good years before that power core burns out. Why not turn him into a baker? He can.
That's a great idea.
Only he can handle having baking hours. They got to get up crazy early.
My wife is frustrated that there's a huge delay. So if anybody is out there and wants to comment, please comment anyways, and I'll read it and try to bring it up in a natural break-in conversation.
Delay.
Yeah,
I know
because delay just joined the call.
And Dana Delaney has
oh God, it's so bad.
Yeah, that was. I feel like you said give us the B material, and I was just like, I will, but it'll take me about 45 minutes or so to really get a good one in there. So
we always have this problem when we're not streaming, that we start talking about the exact topics and things we want to be talking about, and then we're like, no, save it. So
and
the
then
joke,
we get all the way through all that stuff, and then we screw around on the show.
But the joke was that Dave was like, I'll bring my B material. So this is we're now doing our B material actually for the show.
Because we already spent the A material. There was very little of it. There was only
professional, right?
Yeah, totally professional.
I will say some of the funniest improv things I've ever done or seen have been in rehearsal, not live.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's all right. A curse, right?
Well, this will be a continuing theme that we can discuss about stuff. We can bring this discussion into our live draw. We're going to take a quick couple-minute break, and we'll come back and do a live draw. We'll probably what did we say? Terminator and Mrs. Fields to start with.
Cookies. Aging baker robot.
God damn right. No, it's Schwarzenegger. I mean,
it's got to be. We have to start with Schwarzenegger. And if anybody, and unfortunately, because of the 3-Up, I had to redo the show a little bit. I'm not pulling Vader up in.
That's fine. You know what?
Well, we'll just do fireworks. How about that? All right. Well,
there's a big budget.
Oh, absolutely. We'll be right back.
Fireworks.
Okay, we're coming back. We're already talking about Grand Moff Tarkin and Rogue One and how it looked fake and everything like that. Keep talking. I'm going to go to our live draw.
But I think Grand Moff Tarkin they were auditioning Carrie Fisher in the younger form with just like seeing how long they could, if they floated that through the whole movie, when you saw Carrie Fisher at the end, it would be all right, right? But I mean, in a way, it's like once Disney bought it and you knew that they were going to make like all these other movies, you kind of have to give up. You know, like they're going to push it into whatever arena will make them most money. And like I think like young Carrie Fisher, if they could figure out a way to give us 40 episodes or whatever.
Oh my God, yes, absolutely. That's entirely the point.
The thing that bothers me more, that I'd be more scared of than like them creating artificial movies and actors, I'm less scared about that than I am about people appreciating it and not having a problem with it. That's the natural stupidity that I really would worry about.
So you said that the title should be artificial intelligence or natural lack of it. Is that right? What do we call it?
I think
natural stupidity. I thought.
Versus natural stupidity. So expand on that, Dave.
Bringing it back to that, I think that. Yeah.
Expand on that, Dave.
Okay, yeah. So in a nutshell, I don't think robots are going to come take over like in the Terminator or any of those movies. I do think if you look around at how many people at all times in all situations are staring at their phones.
Oh yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
We are already enslaved by the robots, you know, so to speak. And the kind of thinking that has elected and supported our like administration, I'm way more scared of that. And those people have consciousness, you know. So
and they have smartphones. Yeah. And
do they really? Yeah. Do the Republicans have consciousness?
I mean, I thought you were saying, do they have smartphones because their phones aren't?
No, I'm actually asking if the Republicans are conscious.
Well, right. No, and that is again. That's a. I feel like they just have the script. They just have the script that they stick to.
But yeah, but seriously, I mean, it's kind of funny to say, but it's also scary the amount of attention that just goes into people's phones. Like I'm guilty of it too at times.
Oh yeah, for
absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, we did a phone episode. There's an ongoing joke that Darren and I.
The recommendations.
But like we always go because that's
just what everybody does. Looking for something to just at least just be super interesting. You know,
so
right?
Dave, you think that we shouldn't be worried about the robots coming? We should just be worried about more the fact that we're not. We're just getting dumber.
That's what I'm actually. I mean, no, if the robots did take over, I would be legitimately freaked out. Of course, I don't think that's going to happen. But I look around me and I see. I mean, the number of people who are dying by walking into traffic, looking at their phone, or walking off cliffs, or not even showing up to their own lives because
getting in an auto accident,
present but not paying attention to their lives. I mean, it's like that's far more terrifying to me.
Well, what was it? I read what was it? Phubbing is a word that's been created recently. It's
phubbing.
Phubbin. Yeah, it's the act of looking at your phone in front of your significant other, like in public.
Oh, it's now a vocabulary word.
It's phone snubbing.
Oh, geez, yeah. A world where that starts to become the norm. That's what I would be actually scared of.
Hey, like me and my wife are at dinner, and of course,
so this is
our phones.
This is phubbing here?
Yeah, that's phubbing.
Oh, this is great. I love this.
We should put a caption on those two couples that each of them are saying something like, "Hey, honey, I'm reading a great article about phubbing. It looks like we should probably stop phubbing."
I think I should probably put my phone down.
Well, guess what, Dave? Tonight's your lucky night, because here on Very Dad Ideas, we're going to do that.
That's awesome.
It's the term. He's the Terminator's phubbing them.
Can you make like a T-1000, but who's made of like liquid cookie?
Like a cookie dough 1000.
Yeah, because if the first Terminator is at Mrs. Fields, we should have like the T-1000. Not like me, liquid cookie.
Yeah, I like the juxtaposition. I mean, what we're trained to be afraid of is a bodybuilder with a robot body, and what's really taking us over is that.
Yeah.
It's this guy, I mean, it's just...
that's the actual concern in my thinking.
Yeah.
This is the liquid cookie Terminator.
That kind of looks.
I guess.
Like a.
Yeah, I know.
That's
It's a little.
You actually are drawing a vein like on the cookie.
Yeah. No, this is a liquid cookie Terminator.
Dude, I like it.
He looks a little unsure though.
Well, I mean, he's liquid cookie.
He seems less certain.
You think if he was liquid metal, he would be? But you said you wanted.
You'll never see a more confident Terminator than one that's made of liquid metal. You know, like the liquid cookie is just delicious. That's all.
Like, I can't come out in the rain, so let's stay inside for this battle.
If it's too warm, I don't know. I might,
What should they say? What should these two say? Or what should you... Her face here is ridiculous. It's like, you're shunning me for Twitter.
Well, it also makes me think if that was just yet another non-union shoot where they're just got people in there in shirts and they're just like putting people down and like taking pictures for stock photos.
I saw a bunch of robots doing that the other day. They're taking jobs away from the people legitimately trying to get illegitimate pictures.
They took our jobs. Yeah. Bugged.
Or the real threat. That I would say.
Oh, I like it. Yes. Let's do that.
It's not a robot cookie, and it's not.
I love the robot cookie. Can we make plush? Like little.
Can that be a plushie? Can we make that? That's probably one of our first bits of merchandise here.
Yeah. I would buy a plush T1000. I would market that.
A plush T1000?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's like licensing issues on it or whatever, but.
Yeah, like they wouldn't love to have like 25% of just $1 billion. It's
well,
$1 billion industry now.
I mean,
Schwarzenegger market for Terminator action figures, it's huge. I don't know why.
Schwarzenegger is kind of plushy, anyways, right?
Does he even? I mean, I know that they're going to keep making those movies until they can legitimately just.
No, he'll just be legitimately CG from now on,
he'll
right?
Just be CGI then, yeah.
No, they're going to replace him with Carrie Fisher. It's a done deal.
Oh,
Grandma Fisher. Yeah.
The digital Carrie Fisher. Yeah.
Digital Fisher is like that. I mean, that would be a great IP to have a chunk of. I would love to be. What her kid was in Last Jedi, right?
I don't know.
Carrie Fisher's legitimate kid.
I didn't know
that would. Yeah, she's one of the. She's one of the Resistance.
Interesting.
But I mean, that'd be great if she got like a chunk of that. I mean, I know that they said that they were going to do it, and then they I don't know. There's backlash, right? They were like, "Don't put Carrie Fisher in a movie CGI." Hey, do we really care? I think the problem.
This generation does, but the next one won't. You know what I mean? Like it's just eventually, it's just going to be.
Eventually, are they really going to care about Star Wars anymore? Is it like? Because I mean,
whatever Star Wars looks like at that point, I'm sure.
Are our kids? Because I mean, like, it was not cool to like what our parents liked when we were kids. So like, why would I think that my kid is gonna like what I like? Now, yes.
You have to sell it right, Darren. You gotta
sell
it.
You're not gonna sell it that way.
Episode 4 first.
Then
Rogue One. No, wait, no.
I didn't know Ron Howard did this solo thing, or he took it over, or whatever.
I'm sure he figured.
This is a plush Terminator.
I wanted to make a legitimate plush of the cookie Terminator.
Yeah.
Oh, a legitimate plush of the Terminator. Oh.
Yeah, not one of these fakey drawings. I want you to.
I want to market plush liquid cookie Terminator.
This show has been about me and Dave's push to market very bad ideas, and we have a business model, and it involves.
More money.
I don't have I used to have a 3D program on my machine. If I don't, but like, I could open and we could do like a 3D model of a
two-parter. That's for part 2.
Next week we can model.
Yeah.
Can you give us like 30 seconds of good animation by next week?
Can you just give me good 30 seconds of good animation now? Just give it.
I mean, that's the thing with when
give me the fucking animation.
when the AI comes, I could do hours in no time.
They'll just hire like you'll make an AI for Nye, the animator.
Yeah, and
my iPhone can animate a little faster than
Oh, thank you very much. Well, that was our live draw. We're gonna take a little quick break, and we're gonna come back and do our.
We could have roughed Nye up a little bit more, but
I know, and I went fast out of that. I was like,
yeah,
I cut that off like.
Cut right, yeah, I get going, and you cut me off like.
But luckily, I have this guy. I can do whatever the hell I want. All right, we're going to take another quick break, and then we're going to come back with some recommendations and more with AI stuff. All right, be right back. So here we are, our third and final act. We're here with the very talented Dave Serotkin.
You probably got to hear Jen Cass Remington in that little
You did. Jen Cass Remington does our little music bumps. You can find more of her at heydog.com.
Heydog with 2 G's.
Let's do a little business before we move on, just before I forget. Because we've got
a little bit of the business now. Go on.
Yeah. So Very Dad Ideas is you can find us at Very Dad Ideas. Boy, this is an old one. This is my old meta thing, but you can find everything at Very Dad Ideas because you're on the show.
Yeah.
Very Dad Ideas. Exactly.
Yeah, that was the powers on the brain.
That was totally great.
Yeah, having a guest is such a different dynamic. I love it.
The details of my life are quite inconsequential.
You can follow us at Very Dad Ideas, YouTube, at Facebook, at Twitch, at Twitter. You can also listen to the podcast at verydadideas.buzzsprout.com. Also, we are now on iTunes. You can please subscribe to us and watch us on iTunes. The show itself was made with Voicemeeter Banana, OBS Studio, a variety of Adobe products, and I talk to these numbskulls using Discord. We push the networks or restream.io. If anyone would like to know more, please visit us at verydadideas.com. And
my iPhone can read that faster than you.
Yeah. We clocked it. He's only on an iPhone 7. So
I got the 6, baby.
I got the 6 too. It's still. I feel like they're clocking it or whatever they're doing to it.
Well, I feel that mine's still doing pretty well.
Great.
No complaints.
Great. So Dave, you're gonna come back to it and join us next week as we continue this round robin discussion. Frightfully deep.
Once I get my plush liquid cookie toy in the mail.
It is. It's being 3D printed as we speak right now, and it will be.
I haven't seen any mock-ups. Now, if I can get the mock-ups,
we're supposed to be a unit over here.
Get this over to my guys, so for the legal and.
All right, at this part of our show, we do our recommendations. It's basically things that we've seen on the internet that we go, and then we want other people
attention for longer than
that we want to pass on to others so they can be distracted as well. So,
now do you have a recommendation for?
But why don't we start with our guest, Dave? Why don't you go and tell us if you got a?
All right. For those of you with children, and you want to entertain them, any Google Doodle ever. Oh. You know what the Google Doodles are?
Yeah.
You go to the search page, and I almost don't even notice them because I'm searching for something.
Yeah.
But if my kids are around, they're like, "Hey, let me see the Google Doodle."
Yeah.
Oh, what? Oh, okay. And for the Olympics, they had one every day, so we had to go back and catch the ones we had missed because they love the Google Doodles, and some of them are actually pretty cool.
There's actually in-house Google Doodlers, but there's also they take on cartoonists and Pixar animators, and they've had all kinds of people have done Google Doodles.
Did you see the one they did for Mr. Trololo? Do you know Mr. Trololo?
No, I did not. Yeah.
That was my introduction to Mr. Trololo.
Do it. Now, pull up the internet. Get him up here right now. He's a famous.
Just in case anyone doesn't know exactly what we're talking about.
Oh, those people again.
Oh God. She's just mad about his haircut. She's just pissed.
Because it looks better than hers. I mean,
Yep. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
How about the Google Doodle version? Can it do that?
Oh no.
I think I have an iPhone app that can do this for you now. Are you having trouble?
Oh, this one?
Oh,
I've got low disk space. You know, it just.
Oh man, look at that.
Yeah.
I don't even
All
know
right.
what it is, but of course.
The Google Doodle for Mr. Trelolo. Pretty funny.
This is great.
Yeah.
You guys taught me about fubbing. This is fantastic. Okay, so Darren, what is your great Google Doodles? Darren, what is your
Google Doodles.
What is your recommendation?
Mine is I actually, it's like a show that I actually can watch. It's a docu-series on Netflix, CNN's The 80s.
Interesting.
And they're like 25-minute episodes, and it goes through all of this old footage from the 80s. And, you know, I was like 7 in 1980, and I really sort of like all of the 80s I was just sort of awake for, and just TV, and they've gone through just tons of Reagan and tons of the Wall and Gorbachev and Apple computers, and the one that they're on right now is just magical. It's like the Sony Walkman. It's like they're detailing like the first Sony Walkman and just the ad campaigns. And
Is it just about like mass changes in culture, or what was it?
Policy changes in government and just like shifting attitudes. It goes through. It talks about AIDS. It talks about just like really how like Reagan didn't talk about it for a long time, and just how horrible it was, and how undiagnosable, and how people were really terrible.
Or the war on drugs.
No one knew like how it was contagious. And
war on drugs in the 80s with Nancy Reagan and Just Say No and all that. That was crazy.
At that time, do you remember Oliver North?
They do Oliver North in there.
Did you hear why he's in the news yesterday or today?
Oh yeah, no, he's.
Why is that?
He's going to be the new president of the NRA.
Yeah, that's what it is. He was likely to be.
Yeah. I saw the news. I'm like, well, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so dead. Like all my nerve endings are just so dead. I like open the news every day. I'm just like,
right? I mean, are you guys getting like Trump fatigue too? Do you guys have just sort of like where you should probably be watching or whatever, but at a certain point you're like,
dude, it's like gangsters. I had this conversation with you about Cohen, right? Like, they're just bad criminals.
Like they're
just terrible criminals. Anyway,
they're like shitty Joe Pesci's at a casino. Just barely get the blood off of their shirts from like stabbing somebody with a pen.
Michael Cohen is amazing. He's just like, he is so hilarious.
Yeah. I heard Al Gore interviewed like 6 months ago, and he said he was on Fresh Air. He's like, well, Terry, there's so much outrage coming in on a daily basis. I feel that I need to download all the existing outrage in my brain to a hard drive to make room for all the incoming outrage each day.
Man,
and I think
and thus he invented the internet.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's just like, kaboom! I just wanted to sort of reference the way in, because I actually am a computer.
My recommendation this week is actually Westworld. They're in season 2 on that, it's also.
How is that?
I'm an episode behind.
I really loved the first season, and I feel like they're scratching at some things. My one complaint is that I feel like they're being a little too time jumpy. We're spending a little bit too much of time of the show going, what time are they in right now? And I know they want to kind of keep you on your game or whatever, but I feel like there's a lot of jumping around timing stuff. But I think
they did that in the last couple of episodes of the first season, because they sort of the Man in Black.
Well, they were trying to hide reveals and stuff like that. But I think that some of the questions that they might be asking are kind of some of the questions that I'm kind of interested in talking about, like on this subject, which is like, are they bringing in the wealthy patrons so they can copy them and turn them into robots themselves, or understand what their needs are, or what if you actually did create an automated, like a sentient robot? Like all these questions are very, very interesting, and I like exploring them. So.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I really enjoyed the first season. I thought like the acting, like where they acted like robots and stuff, was pretty chilling.
Yeah,
totally. So one like it's not really a spoiler, but if you've never seen the show, it might be like, what's going on? that makes me wonder: are they really sort of coming to consciousness? Are they becoming conscious beings, or
they zombies?
Toward the end of the first season, when Bernard he looks at what's her name? I totally forget her name. The tavern lady.
Dolores.
And the other one. She's played by.
Oh yeah.
I'm blanking out.
Yeah.
But so he says, well, she's planning to leave Westworld. She's going to get on the subway. She has her whole plan figured out. And he says, well, wait a minute. I'm looking at it. This is in your code here. You know. And she's like, that's impossible. I'm doing this on my own free will. But that's all that is said about it.
Yeah.
But that would suggest that they aren't really fully conscious. That they're still just
following the code,
following a set of rules, right?
Well, and I think that was what was interesting about.
My wife
the
says
Matrix
May.
movie.
His name is May. David.
Oh.
Is it May?
May. Yeah.
Well, there's a nod. There's a nod to like her character art. Oh, Maeve. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's definitely. The truth is also like, is our conscious, like, are we actually in command of our own actions, or are we just following things based on things bouncing and like, right? I mean, yeah, brings up
the number of ads that were penetrated into my head. Like, I don't know, how is it I can call up the opening intro to like Thundercats, but
just to throw this out there, I read some studies some neurologists did measuring like the speed of consciousness and conscious reactions to things.
Yeah.
And in most cases, people's brains had sort of decided things a split second before the people even were conscious of making a decision themselves. So in many cases, like, we think we're making decisions when in fact we're just sort of showing up late to the game. And saying like, yes, that's what I'm doing, when in fact
we're like doing this. Yeah, let's do. Yeah.
My wife says facade of control and choice. I mean, there's this concept in philosophy, I think, David, that's called the zombie, which is like somebody who acts like they're alive, moves around like they're alive. You think that they're alive or whatever, but they're actually not.
Well, that brings up a really interesting point, that if somehow we created a machine that was conscious and had consciousness, we could never prove it.
Could never prove it.
Prove consciousness or lack of consciousness, because the machine might say, no, really, I am conscious, and you poke at its little power cord and it goes, ow, 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 but that doesn't mean it really is just because it says it. So you can't prove it, just like you can't really prove that any of us have consciousness. Maybe
no, you
all
cannot.
Of us are zombies except for you. You would never know it.
Yes.
I mean, it's a good thing you didn't fire up any robots there.
Now we feel awful and uncomfortable, and we're all gonna go to bed and have nightmares.
Yeah, it's very bad ideas. We didn't say it was gonna be any fun. Fuckers show up for a show, and you think, oh, it's just gonna be fun? That's bullshit.
Well, I mean, I asked a guy I was talking to, was a neurologist, and a research neurologist, and I brought up the whole like precognition that we aren't really making choices. I said, so do you think we have free will? Or is it all just sort of, automated and we think we do? And he sort of he shook his head. He said, no, we don't have any free will. And he said, but that doesn't change anything. You still should live life like you do and make your best decisions that you can, because none of that you have control over anyway. At the level you do have choice and control, make the best you can with that.
Right.
That's kind of what I do.
Right. It's like I kind of
conscious of the whole game. Yeah.
But I like rationally know that we're just kind of like protoplasm on a rock going around a nuclear hot thing. But like if I actually lived my life that way, I would just be like depressed and on the floor.
Well, you'd be dead on day one at Burning Man. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't. Yeah, if you're really gonna go there, just be like, man, we're just spitting on this rock. We invented money, man. Like, if you go there, like you're just not gonna be able to come back.
Oh,
so the world's biggest freaking spider just went walking by on the carpet over here, and I'm just a little distracted.
It's one of those. Is it a Seattle spider? I mean, it's the.
Yes, it's called the giant house spider.
The wolf spider.
Is it real this big?
Like you'll walk down, and on the wall, you'll just see this thing that's like this. And go, holy God, I'm do they have LED lights? Is that for eyes? Is that how do they so they can? Yeah, well, they don't burn out. You don't have to change the bulb.
Does he have his car keys like in his little?
I'm trying to keep him away from my car keys. There he goes. There he
goes. Well, you'll have plenty of time to fight.
Over to the dumbbells. He's trying to work.
Plenty of time to fight spiders. That's our episode for tonight. We've
fight or flight, Dave. You don't have to fight. You don't have to fight, man. You can choose fight.
Tune in next week where we have episode 2. We'll have Dave back. We'll continue talking about robots and various things.
Dave Serotkin two-parter.
Two-parter. All right. So thanks very much.
If he gets dragged off, or if maybe it says like what's like Wonderful Pig, or what is it? Is it like a Charlotte?
I like Charlotte's Web.
Yeah. Is it like world's greatest? What is? It says some shit like terrific,
swell pig.
Swell pig.
All right.
That's some pig.
We'll see you next week.
My feet lifted off the ground here because
I
can't quite see where it went.